Fresh cracked egg, sausage, melty cheese, and a toasty English muffin.
Honey? I appreciate you repainting our living room, but you're so into your McDonald's sausage McMuffin with egg, you've also painted the sofa, and the fish tank, and the cat.
Teal does bring out Mr. Pickle's eyes.
Right now, buy any size McCafe Premium Roast Coffee Sausage McMuffin with egg or McChicken Biscuit and get one for $1. Price and participation may vary, valid for item of equal or lesser value. For a limited time.
Fresh cracked egg, sausage, melty cheese, and a toasty English muffin.
Honey? I appreciate you repainting our living room, but you're so into your McDonald's sausage McMuffin with egg, you've also painted the sofa, and the fish tank, and the cat.
Teal does bring out Mr. Pickle's eyes.
Right now, buy any size McCafe Premium Roast Coffee Sausage McMuffin with egg or McChicken Biscuit and get one for $1. Price and participation may vary, valid for item of equal or lesser value. For a limited time.
In a world where treasure hunters are kind of bumbling idiots, one man decides to undertake a quest. I'm Heinrich Schliemann, and I will discover Troy! This summer, join us as we follow Heinrich Schliemann as he destroys all archaeological evidence of the city of Troy. This episode, we're talking about a moron whose money allowed him to destroy an archaeological site. Jake, roll the tape. Oh, Marie.
Way to bury the lead there, dude.
What an episode. What an episode.
But it's more than just one guy who thought who destroyed archaeology. It's more than this one bumbling idiot. We're going to be discussing in our quest to discover and talk about treasure hunters in our series that we are going to be talking about treasure hunters, and soon modern treasuring modern treasure hunters. You got to start somewhere, and you need to start. I think of this as sort of the best cautionary story about treasure hunting and archaeology, and sort of this huge romanticizing of what is actually a science that should be followed more precisely.
Yeah.
And so we're talking about Troy.
Yeah, so what's crazy, so we're, like Marie said, we're doing the story of the discovery, or not really the discovery, but kind of like the reclamation by the West, I guess, of Troy, of the ancient city of Troy, if an ancient city of Troy ever actually existed in the way that the Homeric Odysseys and Iliads and etc. discuss it. We're talking about Heinrich Schliemann, a character actually that, Marie, I didn't honestly know all that much about this character until you suggested this as a topic, like as an overarching topic, right, of treasure hunting. And then specifically Schliemann himself as this weird figure who...
So crazy.
It is knuckin' futs the amount of damage one person can do.
Well, and I think it's sort of, it's almost like a cautionary fable about archaeology and sort of about the time that he was operating in, and this colonial mindset that not only could come in and create this narrative, create all this interest, like we'll get into it more, but, really ignite the fire in Europe for this type of activity, but then also, just sort of self-create this entire mythos and legend on top of another myth, which I think is amazing. Because when you start to drill down to what's the actual factual information you have about this dig site and what it is and when it was truly found, and what are they archiving, or what are they bringing to the surface, I should say. It's kind of, there's stuff gets really confusing really fast.
Yeah, it's wild. So for listeners that don't have the kind of background knowledge here, and I honestly did not know a lot of this before we started researching this anyways. So it's kind of interesting, I guess, just how much of our history, I mean, as Jeb Card would say in Spooky Archaeology, right? We tend to just push it all back into our brains as like proto-history or like the age of mythology. And what's really weird is that Schliemann, up until the point that Schliemann discovered, or I guess rediscovered this site, Troy was thought of like Atlantis, or it was it was a lost civilization. It was this mythical place that
what's a legend,
right? It's a legendary place that we didn't think actually existed. We just kind of took it to be a part of a story or a mythology because the main information we have about it comes from the works of Homer.
Yes.
So just to give a little bit of timeliness to this story, I guess, sort of what I was thinking of, right? So just to put this in context, right? The city-state of Troy was thought to have existed between like 1400 and 12,000 BC. Somewhere in that time period, which means that Troy would have been a thing around the same time that King Tut was in power in Egypt.
Yes.
This
is an interesting parallel.
Yeah, the story of Troy gets to us through the works of Homer, specifically the Iliad.
Yes.
And so Homer, it's thought existed. We don't even know if Homer was a real person, but Homer, the person Homer that we tend to link to these stories, we believe existed around 12,800 BC. So Homer wrote these stories either towards the end of Troy being a thing, to like 400 years later. Right. And most people believe it's like a couple hundred years after that he actually wrote it. And then,
which is a big gap of time.
It's
writing about something.
Well, here's the thing, right? The other big crazy thing. So part of Troy, I think in the West especially, and I know I do this personally, we kind of lump all of like Greco-Roman history together into just like Rome. You know what I mean? Rome,